Alright, so Mega Charizard Y was the first ever Pokemon I did a solo run speedrun with. It was the start of my Pokemon Auras batch of solo run speedruns, and funny enough, it was also my worst time. I guess it's also not surprising because I didn't even remember completely how to beat Auras, or at least in the fastest way possible. So I ended up making a lot of mistakes, and I also didn't understand a lot of the mechanics in the game, at least for Auras. So I was able to make use of that, at least for the first couple of solo runs. I think for the first batch of Auras, actually, I didn't use O-Powers, which is no, actually I did actually use O-Powers, but first few I didn't, so I ended up making it slower times. But this time I decided that it was probably time for us to redeem Mega Charizard Y, considering it's got just the most awkwardly skewed time of all, at a time of 2 hours 36 minutes and 10 seconds, while the average of everything else is around under 2 hours. It's kind of wild. So this time, with my knowledge of solo run speedruns and remembering how the run went last time, I decided to take it on again, and this time went a lot better. So off the start, I already knew that Mega Charizard Y is an absolute beast of a Pokemon. It one-shots pretty much everything. And at the start of the game, there's just one big hurdle. There's just, I guess one main hurdle, and that's obviously Roxanne. You know, Rock-type Pokemon against Fire Flying. Not very fun, especially since Mega Charizard Y also has less bulk than some of the other Pokemon I've used. 78 HP, 78 physical defense. However, since this time I get to use O-Powers, things are different. So when I took on Roxanne, I knew that her Geodude had Sturdy. So what I did was I started with an O-Power defense so that I could take Rock Tomb better. And the second turn, I got the O-Power special attack and was able to just take down Geodude. And obviously following Geodude comes Nosepass, which also I think is just kind of bad AI. She wasn't really clicking Rock Tomb that much, so I was at some point after healing, she just stopped using Rock Tomb, which meant I could just easily just start spamming was it Embers. Even though the sun went away, it was still fine, and we were able to just take down the win despite being underleveled. The first time I did this, I actually had to level to, I think, level 16 or 17 to get Dragon Rage to beat this, but this time I beat it at level 12, which meant that compared to the first run, we saved 6 minutes of time here, which is absolutely crazy, and it felt really nice to actually get past such a difficult hurdle off the beginning. And obviously Brawly's not an issue. I will say, actually, for most of the game, Mega Charizard Y literally doesn't struggle whatsoever. So one of the main things is just getting past some of the big hurdles that slowed me down last time, and also just navigating through the game much better. So this, some slight things different this time is since Charizard does learn a lot of TMs in this game, I had to know which moves are actually necessary, which moves aren't. But luckily, since I already did a run I kind of had an idea of generally what TMs I needed. And that's basically only just Solar Beam. I did grab the Heart Scale at the start of the game, just because I wanted Air Slash. So for the Heart Scale personally, you actually Mega Charizard, or just Charizard in general, gets so many good moves. It's, I think, like Dragon Claw, Heat Wave, Air Slash, Hurricane as well, I think. But I think Hurricane has lower accuracy in the sun, so it's not really worth it. So what I did instead is just took Air Slash. Of course, I could have just taken Heat Wave there to have more damage, but Mega Charizard does learn Flamethrower at like around level 47, so it was kind of unnecessary. And I would talk about Brawly. I guess the main thing is Watson. Watson, because the first time I actually lost a few time to him because of Thunder Wave, but this time I think I brought I literally just bought a potion, or just full heal. I forgot to equip the Cherry Berry, which would have saved a few more seconds, but I had a full heal and I was able to tank Volt Switch. So as long as I wasn't paralyzed during the fight, it was easy enough to win. So even though I did make a slight mistake, wasn't a problem. Oh yeah, and going back to the TM part, or just moves in general, So Mega Charizard does learn Steel Wing, which you get off to start. At Granite Cave, you also learn Rock Tomb after Roxanne. You also get Bodos right before Watson. We don't use any of those. I did consider Bodos just because of rock type Pokemon like Geodudes, but then I thought like, or Geodudes, Numos, just any Pokemon that just it's nice coverage for. When I thought about it, I was like, it's kind of not necessary because any like fire boosted move in Drought just does insane amounts of damage to the point where Bodos does even make a significant difference. I also had a modest nature, so Bodos would have also done a lot less damage. So I know there's like some Pokemon that I wasn't one-shotting, just because at some point after Watson, just because I still had Ember. Charizard does contain, or just keep Ember for a while until it gets, I think, Flame Burst or Fire Fang later on. So just kind of had to use that until we actually got a better fire move. I still took Air Slash just because it's just something saved for the future. Because if there's one big like obstacle that wasted a lot of time for me, it was in the Elite Four, but we will get to that. So Flannery, it's not much of an issue. Norman, obviously not an issue either. And Winona, yeah, so at this point, like, most Pokemon are literally not a problem. After beating Winona, we get the Solar Beam TM. And I think this is also where I start making some drastic changes to some of my navigation after Mount Pyre, which does also save a lot of time. And after Winona, you also get the Solar Beam TM, which gives us nice coverage for water types and also rock and ground types. So with that, we pretty much had a completed moveset here. Just a Flame Burst, Solar Beam, Air Slash, and then Overheat, just in case. Overheat's mainly for just like opponents like ace Pokemon in case I feel like a Flame Burst, Flamethrower wouldn't one shot, and it's the last Pokemon anyways. As long as I take it out, it's fine. Just use Overheat. But yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. So Tay and Liza obviously could be scary because it's two Pokemon. I can't take out two Pokemon at once. However, I just gotta make sure I'm targeting the right Pokemon that's more threatening. And in this case, it's Solrock, because Solrock uses Rock Slide, and Lunatone tends to be more on the special side and more of a supportive Pokemon. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it went for Psychic on my other Pokemon there. And I can't even remember if it ever had Power Gem or Rock Slide, but either way, Solrock was obviously the most more threatening one there. And then we take on Archie. So I chose Alpha Sapphire over Omega Ruby just because Sharpedo is just a lot less tankier Pokemon. And Numo Camerups do have Rock Slide, and depending on the RNG, it could just mess with me a lot, and that's not something I really want to deal with. And since I get Solar Beam anyways, Sharpedo is just something that definitely cannot live anyways. So and since I am a Mega Charizard, I have decent speed and have decent levels in EV, so at that point I was outspeeding everything. So Mega Sharpedo literally wasn't a problem. It's the best case scenario. Way better than a Mega Camerupt that could easily one-shot me and not die in one hit. So yeah, after that, we take on Wallace. And Wallace, so he's an O-Power this time. I think the first time, I didn't even need it either. But just to make it slightly quicker, just to one-shot everything, I did use an O-Power special attack. Just make a nice, easy one-shot. And then I also had to remember to buy X items. I don't remember if I actually did it around here or right before the LE4, but just keep in mind that I did buy some just because the Elite Four was something I needed to definitely change up my strategy, considering last time I lost almost like an hour of time just to maybe like half an hour just to the Elite Four, just because I kept getting stuck on Drake since I didn't use O-Powers, and I think I did use some slight X items, but I don't think I had enough money for X items at the time, or I didn't have too much money where I could just spend that as much as I want. So obviously the first Jelly Force are not much of an issue. The thing is with Drake is that Flamethrower, Sun Boosted, does not one-shot everything, especially like Altaria, Flygon, and everything, and especially Kingdra. So even if I one-shot everything beforehand, assuming that the Flygon gets one-shot, because if it doesn't, it does usually have Rock Slide, and that does one-shot. But even if I one-shot all of them, or not one-shot all of them, but take them out, usually by the time Kingdra comes out, I run out of Flamethrowers. Or no, I run out of the sun. So solar beam's also not much of an issue. In the first run, I didn't have air slash, so that wasn't really an option either. So this time, obviously, I have air slash, so I have a better moveset, and I'm using O powers this time, so I actually can one-shot most of his Pokemon, or actually, it's pretty much all of his Pokemon. +1 air slash stab with 159 base special attack, just it puts in wonders. With that, you know, it was just. I also used an O-Power special attack, or not O-Power, X special attack on Charizard at the start, just because I wanted the extra damage. So even when the sun was away, I did have Air Slash that could just take down everything, +2 special attack just because some craziness. And then going into Steven, obviously, since he does have an Aggron, we had to be very careful of that. If we're not, or I mean, there's not much we could be careful. If we get unlucky, we literally just lose out on an amazing time. So obviously here, I'm just setting up to +6 defense on the Skarmory and just a little bit more special attack just to guarantee the one-shots on everything. Aggron comes out, and then I go for Air Slash and it actually flinches it. Which is spares me the, you know, the bad RNG potential. So with that, we were able to just one-shot everything. I'm just saying that if I didn't flinch that, and even though I was a +6, Stonehenge has a high crit rate, so it could have definitely still crit me and just one-shot me, ending like such a good time there. I still would have gotten an amazing time, but you know, not having to redo the whole entire Elite 4 was a lot quicker. And with that, we beat the game at 1 hour 30 minutes and 7 seconds, just a little over 1.5 hours, but this is by far our fastest time. Because the second fastest speed is Mega Sharpedo at 1 hour 36 minutes and 58 seconds. This is practically 7 minutes faster than that, which is kind of wild. Considering the first time Mega Charizard I had a time of 2 hours 36 minutes and 10 seconds, which means this is over an hour faster, which is crazy. Meaning that Mega Charizard Y both stands as our slowest time and our fastest time, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so Mega Charizard Y was really fun when I actually knew what I was doing. It was just, this is also really surprising to me. I guess after the first run and going through some more runs, I had a general idea that just being a Pokemon that can just one-shot everything with the sun up is just kind of insanely powerful. I just had to utilize it correctly and get past some of the big obstacles and utilize kind of just gimmicks, just like O powers and XMs, because they are insanely overpowered. So so anyways, there's the Mega Charizard Y redo run. So next up is going to be Mega Medicham, so look forward to that, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.